I would like to welcome Sridharan Iyengar, former Principal Private Secretary to the Governor of Reserve Bank of India. Having worked in Indian Insurance Companies Association pool for more than 2 years, joined income tax as stenographer to the Appellate Authority in Mumbai, holding initially the grip of a stenographer position, rose to the level of Principal Private Secretary to the Governor of Reserve Bank of India. During the span of nearly 40 years, have served as private secretary to the various chief general managers, then to the executive directors, deputy governors, and at last to the governor as his principal private secretary, which post was equivalent to the deputy general manager. Handled training sessions at the Staff Training College, Reserve Bank of India, besides delivering lectures on motivational subjects. After retirement from RBI, he was recommended by Dr. Y.V. Reddy, the then Governor RBI, to the founding Vice Chancellor of Central University of Tamil Nadu in assisting the task of formation of the Central University of Tamil Nadu, and on completing that term was again given an assignment to be the secretary to the founding director of Center for Advanced Financial Research and AMP Learning, where he served till May 2015. A person who is keen to share his experience among the younger generation.
Good evening to all of you here, who are all the participants here. I'm privileged to be in the midst of this Global Educational Mentor Summit, which is very nicely worded as GEMS. It's a very great thing that I don't know how it has been generated, but automatically it has come as GEMS, so which is supposed to be the background of this summit. As a matter of fact, this is, I think many luminaries will be here. I am too small a person to address all of you because I'm too small and I'm too common a person. But all said and done, my intention of joining this, I have a passion to address the youngsters who are all upcoming in this world, because the whole world is now has become a field of challenging one. It's not that easy to live in this world at this present juncture, because so many complications are there, so many things are happening in and around. The whole nature is, I don't know whether is it against us or that itself is teaching a lesson to all of us as a normal human being. The question is especially for the students, I should say, first of all, they should be able to understand what is the life. Life is L-I-F-E. It is live in full ecstasy is the meaning. That means you should be always happy, because the life is a very, very short span. We don't know what will happen to a person, because so many quotations in all the languages are there, and especially when you get into Tamil, the Thiruvalluvar, who is supposed to be the globally known, I should say, is the chief. What is going to happen? It's very difficult for us to predict. So this is very, very, neither it is constant nor it has got any consistency for living in this world. So first of all, we should know how to lead a life, because when you go back to the years, some 1800, 1900, those days were something different. People were not technologically so inventing so many things and then putting them into the system. But now everything is completely a fistful of a small instrument is you are holding, and then you are able to see the whole world within that. So that kind of thing is happening in the technology side. So that is one, wherever it is, advantages and disadvantage is a part of our life. I should say, even to some extent, the chartered accountant, God is a very big chartered accountant. Nobody knows what is he doing, but all said and done, when there is a debit, there is a credit. When there is a gain, there is a pain. When there is expenses, there is an income. There is a profit, there is a loss. So likewise, the whole body has been divided into two, I should say, left and right. So left brain controls the right brain, and right brain controls the left brain, is the common biology. It's a biology. So the whole world has been divided into logic. I used to ask some of the students, what do you mean by logic? Sir, logic is a logic. But what is that? 4 plus 3, if you say the answer is 7. So this 7 remains the same for each and every individual in the Globally, it is 7. So you cannot change the nature's mathematics. So that logic has been divided as an atom, as a global level. It's a round. Actually, when you look at the globe, it is a round. It is like a ball. It has been divided again by an axle. When there is in New York, it is night. In India, it is day. So day and night is a combination. So the axle has got the full power to hold it, and a small tilt in the axle will consume the whole world into its, it will swallow. So this is, we are all in the temporary world, and first of all, we should know the logic. So there are so many logics: psychological, physiological, biological, technological, everything is logic. So what we do as a normal human being, leave apart all our beliefs and trust and other things. The moment you sleep in the night, you'll have to get up in the morning with a firm faith that we are going to get up with a life. That itself is in doubt nowadays. So all these logics are being stolen by us from the nature. Nature is completely filled with all kinds of atoms. So that is why Vishwam Anu is equal to Vishwam, Vishnu, what we call it as the whole world universally. It is all filled with small atoms that stands before us like a ball. It is all imaginary thing. Therefore, what is important? Education is what is education? Let us come back to that. What is education is the moment you come out to this soil as a very small baby without knowing anything, what is happening. And then you crawl, then you try to stand, you stand firm. All these things are happening, and then you try to speak. Apart from the languages, what we know, that is all inbuilt chip. God has put it in you as an inbuilt chip. So when you come out, you are being led by your parents, mother and father, holding you, giving you support. But at the same time, we should think what we learn is the normal thing. It is being inbuilt like a chip by the nature. So there is a quotation, it says, law of nature will never change, but nature changes constantly, because the law is a frame of law. When you take a picture, when you want to frame it, it is within the frame. It cannot go here and there. The reason is to have a constant holding on that, to make it, it is a fixation of all the law. Whereas the nature is a mother nature. We call it as nature, as a mother. So mother definitely should have heart. So she will not try to do anything. So the nature will change itself to ensure proper living of all the human beings. There are so many gurus, so many people have taught so many things in our life. But the question is, for the younger generation, to make it clear to them, we will have to give lots and lots of examples what they understand. So yes, somebody asked me, how do you do all these things? You are creating a very big, religious function, and then function, there is a faith, there is a trust, everything. But the whole world is moving on the trust and faith. When we say God, G-O-D, God, that is got a very big, it is known as generation, organization, and destruction is God. So Trinity is important for us to know. So unless and until there is a generation also has got more value, in the sense, gene is being rationed by the Lord. That entire gene, that is what say the next generation. What is that next gen? We give a lot of importance to create so many wordings without knowing the meaning. That is what I used to tell the people. First of all, you should know the basics of. People are all talking big things, all big jargons and all. Jargons are not the essential thing to make one understand. The question is, unless and until there is a proper communication between a man and a man, between one group to the other group, even otherwise, the communication is a very big subject. You can speak on communication in many ways, because it has got a wider horizon to be able to be understood. Even for the every microsecond, somewhere some communication is going on. Even the waves, when they make sound, it is communicating to the entire living being. Some, I am there, be happy, be careful. This is a caution that is giving. Even the earthquake, tsunami, whatever you call it, even the lightning, even the thunder, even the birds, even the animals, even our own human beings, when they talk to the other person, it has got more of, it changes the mood and mode of communication. That is more important. So the one word of the language, The language is a boon that has been given to the mankind to speak, and we are the only species we are able to laugh, we are able to smile, we are able to communicate with this thing. But all said and done, there is only one thing in this world which is very common, that is called love. That is why in any of the games, when you start a game, for example, table tennis or a tennis or badminton, when you say the first service, it is called service, service to the human being, service to the Lord. That is called, it has got more effective meaning. That is called love all is the first serve. Whoever serves, that will be love all. And who is winning the game will be earning only the number of points. But who is losing will have more 21 love towards it. So the love has got more, the impact of living. So when you have the full love to the other man, the communication changes. I should say, many people, they do not understand the basics of communication. They talk very big, pronouncing as if an American or a Russian or whatever it is. But what is the basics? For example, when you look at a person, when you call him, can you come home, is the proper communication. Come home, that is not the communication. Come home, he will not come. Come home, will you please come home? There is a modulation, tone, tenor, rhyme, rhythm, pause. All these things are inbuilt. Unless and until you come out, unless and until you realize what is exactly is happening. That is why the whole body has been constituted in such a way. People, they don't understand. The whole body is already a computer generated by the Lord. How does it work? UPS is nothing but the electricity of your own heart, which is the UPS. It will not go. Once it stops, everything gone, like that it is. So the vein is taking away all the integrated circuit inside going on, and the brain has got more chips. God is putting everywhere there is a chip. The chip has been already invented by the Lord. Only we call it now, we have invented this chip, that chip. It is not chip, it is cheap. Whatever we invent is a chip. This is chip. So the question is, how do we react? Are we human beings? So when you start really loving a person, and if you are able to pour the love to the other person, you automatically, you are getting a beautiful, a power, or you generate your own power within you, which is supposed to be the love and love. So these are all the basic things one should know. And otherwise also, unless and until you are able to have a guide to make you, because I used to ask, what do you mean by experience? Experience is nothing. When you are in 8th standard or 9th standard, when the physics teacher or the chemistry teacher takes a group of person for the first time to the lab, first of all, the first entry itself will be giving you a surprise. Why we came here? All the instruments are there, burette, pipette, all this stove, everything is there. But how do you know about this? So the teacher or the professor, whoever it is, he is trying to explain you, this is what this has to be done. So you'll have to manufacture oxygen. Oxygen contains this, all this. So 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, and after 10 days, you will have to do your own experiment in that. So when you do the experiment, that becomes experience. So experience has got more value. Experience has to be learned with humility. Even I should say, the human beings, when you call it as human beings, humility plus nobility makes a man. That's all. Humility is very important. I used to tell the people, dedication, devotion, discipline, discrimination, and duty. These are all the 5 Ds, which are very important components in this body or in this as a human. But all said and done, there is one ego, that spoils the whole affair in your life. So ego is nothing but, when you expand it, they say it is emotional growth orientation. More you grow old, more you get that kind of combination of this ego. Therefore, the social activities or your recognition in the whole of the universe is absolutely based on how do you behave with the people, and how do you have the belief in the other man. Say what they call it as bank. Many people, I used to ask the question, what do you mean by bank? There are people who has qualified so much, BCom, MCom, MPhil, I asked one of all these fellows, some of the students from IIM, they were all so freshers. They came for a training course in one of the banks where I went and, handled a class. All these fellows are having three-piece suit and they come with a little bit of, getting ahead because they are all from IIM. So I waited for 10 minutes more because they are not able to maintain that kind of punctuality because they are the products of the IIM. IIM products will be getting, I think, minimum 1 crore or something, some package. But when you are able to have that kind of displaying your humility to the the point of sending our wavelength to the world, you should have that humility to ensure that you get somebody as your friend, real friend. It is not that just as a Hippocratic fellow that he comes and joins you for the certain, doing something and expecting something. Unless and until you have all these qualities, you cannot become a normal human being. So even the human beings, when you are loving animals, I think most of the people have got that kind of love for animals. They are much better. They display their sense of intelligence in a better way. So when that kind of thing is happening, the age, when you call it as, I used to tell the people, so these people came for a training and I was talking to them. I asked them, what do you mean by bank? Bank is something financial transaction. One fellow said it is a cash transaction. It is somebody to keep the money in that this thing and then we use it. I said, no, I'm not expecting that kind of answer. The answer is a very simple one, what I expect. Then one fellow got annoyed because that gentleman is from IIM. I'm too small a person. Even I told him that you are all looking at me as a very common man. But the experience what I gained has got much better than you. So what you do it in 5 or 6 years to come out of IIM, I have learned it in 20 years. That is enough for me to have a best base. So that fellow was telling all these things. I said, no. Then he was telling me, then he got annoyed. He said, why can't you tell, sir? I think you should tell me. Then I told him, if I tell you this, you will feel ashamed. Then what is that? He got more angry. What is that? You tell me, sir. I told him, now you are now 27 years, 28 years, and you are coming across many girls along with you. So you have so many secrets in your heart. Even you can't part it with your own parents. So you are looking at somebody you want to bank on somebody for just giving all the things, because that becomes a burden for you. So you want to have somebody to bank on. That is, that girl is coming and selling, you want to bank on her shoulder to tell her something, which is called trust. It is not bank. So you are banking on her. It is just like, again, you compare a small river which has got the flow of water, which is normally as a liquid cash or whatever you call it, stream of flood, which is going. One bank is banking on the other bank to take the stream of water into the destination to yield something out of it. That is called bank. Trust is the bank and faith is the bank. Oh, I see, sir. Now I understand. So this kind of thing, bank is not just like that. Every word has got multiple meanings. Every word has got, multifarious way that you can interpret. Therefore, so many people are that. There is a small thing in Tamil which I want to translate and tell you. No, please do not be, make yourself as a man of pride that I learned everything. Nobody is there in this whole world to oppose me. But all said and done, the quotation or the poem says, the sun god is throwing some millions of rays of heat to the earth. So he thinks that I can destroy everything. But a person, one who is in a village, when he is walking, he is holding a small umbrella and he opens it up. The whole rays are not falling on him. He is able to be saved out of these rays. Therefore, what exactly it means is, people might have learned many things. People might have read so many books, millions of books, but all of a sudden there will be one person who might have read a book which you have not come across. And if he puts a question from that book, you will not be able to answer. So that is what the gist of that poem. So therefore, the question of getting yourself as if somebody with ego, that has got nothing to do in this world. And the basic for the younger generation, I want to say is, you will have to be very coordinate You will have to be cooperatively, you will have to do your job. Collectively, you will have to have a strength. Not individually, you can, everything is interdependent. It is not independent. Please remember, everything is dependent on the other. The whole world is depending, each and everything is depending on the other. Without one thing, nothing can happen. For example, if you want to construct a house, the construction of a house is, first of all, what you need is you'll have to plan. Somebody has to plan it. And who is the person planning? Is an architect. First, second is you'll have to have the materials. You'll have to go and ask the manufacturers of all these materials. And the third fellow is to, all the workers who are going to come and do this job for you. By merely constructing a house and going, the next is painting. You'll have to have a get up for the house. So we are all living for others. We are not living for our own selves. That is the problem. Whenever you ask somebody, how are you? Everything answer is, I'm very fine. But definitely he may not be fine internally. The question is, unless and until you make the other person happy, you will not be happy. That is why I should tell the people whenever you go to the temple, first of all, pray that the whole world should be happy. So in the whole world, you will be the first person to be happy. That broad-mindedness only, the God gives you some guidance. So in Mahabharata, the instigation, and I used to ask the people, which is the best way, whether you motivating or instigating. No, sir, motivating is positive, instigating is negative. I said in Mahabharata, when you go back, instigation plays a key role in making a person to be very bold. There is an incident in the Mahabharata when Arjuna was sitting and Krishna is charioting the entire thing. The 18 days this fellow is sitting and without doing anything, he's asking questions. I can't kill all the people. Krishna says, all this, come on, take your bow and arrow, come on, shoot them up. He says, no, Krishna, how can I do it? They are all my kith and kin. They are all my people, those who are very close to me. They are all my gurus. How can I kill? And what is the dharma? What is the righteousness that you have got? You are asking me to do. That is called motivation, has been given by Lord Krishna for 18 days, 18 chapters, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all these things. All words have completely dried up now, 18th day. Now, this Krishna is supposed to be the director of the whole episode. He is the director, he is the music director, he is the story writer, everything. So he completely changes that scene into such a way that Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was made to go in the opposite team, and then he was encircled by all the people and he was made to be, that is the Pandavas. He is the person one, he never tells any lie. Come on, you shout with your top of your voice and say, all the people to, I'm making known, all these people, please be aware that Arjuna's son Abhimanyu has been killed by these Pandavas. Then Arjuna says, now Krishna says, Arjuna, you were all talking all these things, nonsense way that you talk to me, all this, how can I kill them? How can I do this? How can I do that? The question is, one answer is enough. You said that you are all kith and kin. If that is the case, are they having the heart to kill your son in that? Then he wakes up. This is called instigation. Instigation is boosting the person's energy in many multiple way. So the question is, how do we do about this? Everything has got an inner consciously, we have got everything inside biologically, we have got everything. So everything is biology. When it is combined to psychology, then your actions differ from one to the other. So psychology has to be common, philosophy has to be common, biological has to be common, all putting together synchronized way. If you are able to have a serene mind, peace is very important for all of us. That is why people are running here and there. For what? For nothing, for money. Money can make them, see, man can earn money, but money cannot earn a man. That has been proved. How can you do that? See, all these years, aging is another problem. See, people think that I'm not going to die. This is a psychological problem. I will not die forever. I'll be like this only. That is inner conscious. What is happening is, but the reality is something different. You'll have to always look at the reality of life. So question is, we are being manufactured like a Maruti car. It has got ABC, all that is accelerator, brake, and clutch. The same way, always be careful, always be cautious, always be courteous, always be courageous. This ABC, we should have that. It is not that ABC, that the accelerator, brake and clutch, unless if you are going at the speed of 180 kilometers per hour. If you are going in a nice national highway, you can just blindly, you can drive, you think, but all that every road is not so safe and so smooth, because there will be in between hurdles. That is the life. You can't go on enjoying forever. You can't go on eating sugar. You can't go on eating all this, the savor or whatever you call it as. All the six taste is something different. So you need, the tongue has been trained in such a way. Therefore, you should have contented life and controlled life. And Englishman has said, up to 40, eat the food. After 40, taste the food. You should not go on eating it. So all, and also there is a leverage of keeping a ceiling. That is what they say. 100 is the maximum. 100 is the life. That is called 10%. Who is the 10% quality? Except the Lord, nothing. That is why whenever they call it as Purnam, Purnamidam, Sampurnam, is that Lord. 100% is the purity of gold, 99.99% only. Whereas when you come back to the biological events that is taking place in our body, 100 is the maximum for a blood pressure. 100 is the maximum for the sugar. 100 is everything, cholesterol. All these things to be controlled within that 100 is the, and even age is 100. Beyond 100, very difficult to live. If at all they lead a life of that, that is a nature's gift for them. So 100 is that. So wherever we are, we should be able to give much importance to the other man. Please do not think that the other man is a fool. The other man is always intelligent. When you see your approach, when you move, is very cautiously when you move, you can safeguard yourself from any danger that might come. So these are all the basics of life, is very important. Even jokingly, I used to say, engage, that is YOUNGAG, GAE, engage. Then it is engage, ENGAG, engage. After engage, it is, marriage. After marriage, it is carriage. After carriage, it is damage. After damage, it is middle age. After middle age, it is old age. After old age, it is home age, and then voyage. And for all these ages, you should have courage. So this is the life. This is the beautiful life that God has given. But we are the people who are instrument in spoiling the whole thing in our life. People, they have got lots of degrees. What is the use of degree is, unless you implement yourself what you have read. 100 pages you mug up one day. Next day exam, you go and write. You come back home and say, I have written so well. I am expecting first class. Yes, you get first class. And then you go there and take a degree. And then even in some of the colleges, they throw the hats off and then come back. But what is the use of it? Use is, unless you come across so many experiments in your life, unless you learn the basics, nothing can happen in your life. Therefore, the education, as he said, that gems, whatever the educational, the Zoom meeting, I would only suggest, and I can only advocate one thing. Please don't be on the high side. We are all neutral. Neutral gear is always better in our life. If you put the first gear or the fifth gear, then it is definitely, it will make you to come out with an accident. So neutrally, whenever you say, be neutral. Why do they say neutral? Neutral is the safest place. Neutral is the safest stage. So we should have a neutral. That is why in the brain itself, there are so many cells within the brains. And I should say there are some corporate, they say all of a sudden they will say brainstorming session they will conduct. What do you mean by brainstorming session? Brainstorming session is nothing but, all of a sudden the concept works out like this. The managing director, who is the topmost authority, will call his one confident fellow. Then he will say, come on, all the fellows will be there at 3 o'clock or 3:30 in their own moods. He will say, come on, conduct a meeting. All of a sudden, give them a notice. All fellows will be in a different mood. One fellow might have fought with his wife. One other fellow might have spent a lot of money. Another fellow might have got his EMI problem. So many things in the brain, it is going on. Then all of a sudden meeting, then this fellow will say, oh my God, this man is calling for a meeting. We should go, because that's a very important meeting. So all the fellows join together. And then that man, one who has been chosen for a confident this thing, he will sit with the boss. And then just, the meeting will start. And in meeting, the person, one who has been chosen, will have lots of, instigating the other man with irritating questions. But all the answers, whatever you get it, whether it is angry mood or whether it is jovial or whether it is serious enough, all these arguments, all these main points will be gathered in one basket, and that will be kept. And then after the meeting, the boss will call that fellow and say, you prioritize what we have, because the clash of brain cells will produce a lot of energies, will produce a lot of ideas, will produce a lot of planning capability of the people. That is called brainstorm. The brain atoms will start giving a storm to the entire thing, and then make it as it is all depending on the moods of the person. Therefore, everywhere there is a technique. Why do we call it as boss? Nobody knows what do you mean by boss. BOSS is be one step senior is one question. That is be one step superior. So the superiority means you are the boss. Your boss is calling. So the tone and tenor itself, boss is calling. That is another. That boss, the word has got more weightage, because that is the producing level for your livelihood. You will have to be, suppose boss is telling 4 plus 3, 8. Sir, it can be 8 also, sir. So whether it is 8 or not, we don't know. It should be 8. Sir, yes, sir, it should be 8, sir. So this kind of thing, that psychologically you are being, but when you are very straightforward, when you feel this is the right thing, put it on that. Yes, this is wrong, this is right. That kind of habit or that kind of attitude you should develop at the younger stage. So if it is right, justifiable, you say it is justifiable. So education has got more values. There will be lots of people here with so many qualifications, PhD, DLit, all these things. But all said and done, out of my experience, out of my, I have moved across with so many people from a common man to the highest level. I came across many things. When my boss has said, if you are wrong, admit in the presence of all the people that I am sorry, sir, I am wrong. That ends the matter. If you try to zigzag, if you want to take it away, then you are liable for so many lies that you will have to say. And then you will be complicating yourself. You are putting yourself into the net where you cannot untie it. So these are all the things. Even for Wi-Fi, we call it as network and all. What do you mean by network? Network is the reason, but olden days network was something, and you'll have to look at this spider web. That is why it is called WWW, World Wide Web. Web, why they call it as web? Because the communication those days, whenever there was a world war, one-to-one communication was there, one wire to the other wire, that used to be cut off. But just to ensure that so many connections in one connection, keeping it as a hub, that connection has been done as World Wide Web. So the web, when it connects everything, you can even cut off one, but still that connectivity will be there. Therefore, all these things are being, invented through the nature. Nature is giving you everything. That is why she is called Mother Nature. She cannot be called as Uncle Nature or Father Nature. This is Mother Nature. There is no other. That is why even in Hindu philosophy, the whole body has been divided for Lord Shiva. That is called Ardhanarishwara. On the left side, God gives the Parvati on the left side, and right he keeps it. Why? Because on the left side only there is a heart. Only mother can have the heart. That heart has got full of love. So these are all the things. Basically, fundamentally, even when you go deeper into any of the system, it has got more logical thing in this world to create this world. Even all these things are available. Whatever we are going to do in the future, whatever the invention they are going to come, it is already available. Only we are just digging it out. And even it says, even in your heart, when you are able to go deeper into the system of your heart and think, who are you? Try to answer, who are you? It's a very complicated thing. So when you go deeper, for that, God has given you so many instruments, like, sixth sense he has given you. Go deeper and deeper and deeper, think, and then you will get blossoming ideas. Ideas will be blossoming. So this kind of exercise, along with what you learn, and what you learn is called LGARN. Unless and until you learn, you cannot. That ARN is already there in the spirit. People with jewel, that is a word, hidden word is dual. Duality is the basics of this life. If you are going to gain something, that gain will be definitely, there will be gain. If you want to gain, there should be a pain in that. You can't, without any pain, you cannot gain. That is definite. If you have an advantage, disadvantage will be there. Suppose I get some kind of assignment or something from my boss. He will say, unless and until you do this, you will not get that. In that, when you process, when you want to progress, you will say, if I do this, this is. So what is the gain? So there will be disadvantage in that. So you will have to have the serenity of mind, neutral mind, common mind. You'll have to have the intellectually intelligent. There are two things. One is wisdom. That wisdom has got two issues. One is intelligent, another is intellect. So intelligent will be commercial intelligence, crooked intelligence. It can earn money. But whereas wisdom and intellect are completely connected with the spirituality, that cannot make any mistake. Intelligence can make number of mistakes. That is what chartered accountants. They can make anything by contra entry, reconciliation, that this. They try to put that accounting system in such a way that nobody will understand it, because only income tax people can understand. So these things are in the common way. We have been made as a human being. So in the basics of life is very important. Education will definitely give you upper hand for making yourself more intelligent in this. And then education has to be in a proper way. Education should have ethical approach. Unless and until if you are educated, in education will pave way for giving a brighter future for all of us. So that is the kind of life we should have. Therefore, what are you able to hear me? Huh?
I can.
So
yes, sir.
So I don't know. So these things I wanted to say on this. I think if you is it still more I can speak, or what is that?
Yes, sir.
How many minutes?
You can continue.
So this kind of thing, what I'm telling is in the common life. But all when we look at our life, we have got three tenses: past, present, and future. Future, you will have to have the future in the sense, unless and until the past should have a strong foundation. You know what is happening. And present, what we are doing. These are all, just like past, present. They used to say past is a very, torn check or something. Present is a gift. You will have to have a price for that. And what is important, you will have to encash immediately. That is why it is called a check which can be encashed immediately. That is more than a cash. So these are all only for examples. But what is important, wealth and other things should be like a footwear which can fit into your foot. It should not be more longer side or to be very short. So if it is more, you can't walk properly, you will fall down. If it is very short, it will bite you. If I'm tend to be a sugar patient, then I'll have to suffer on that. So all these things should be limited. That has got more thrilling. For example, if your requirement is 10,000 rupees per month, if you're able to get some 10,000 rupees as a salary, that is enough. That contentment, if you're able to derive the contentment, I don't think you will find any thing. Then if you try to enlarge your with the demand and supply, whatever you call it, desires should be contented. If I want to, what is my capability? What is my ability to repay? When you take loan has become a more familiar nowadays. All EMI, including your mobile phone, they say I will give you EMI. That is not the way to spend money. What is your future plan? What is your family? That's what I used to tell the people. Economics is nothing but how you adjust your money is called economics. Mother is the best finance minister ever you can see. She can adjust anytime. All of a sudden, you go to a college and then you come with all your friends, 10 people together, and then you gate crash and come inside. Mommy, I have come. All my friends have come. Come on, make them something. Inside, what is there in the kitchen? You don't know what is happening inside, whether rice is there, whether dal is there, whether oil is there, nothing. But all said and done, just as a matter of prestige, to keep up the prestige, she will go to the neighbor's house without knowing anyone's, she will not say anything, I'm just coming within 5 minutes. She will bring anything and then she will make and give it and make it in such a way that you are not becoming sad. So she will make everybody happy because it is a prestige. That is the economics for our country. That is why we used to say, Many people, they are not able to understand why the name Reserve Bank of India. Many people, they don't know. Here I want to say cash reserve, foreign exchange reserve, and then your gold reserve. All the three reserves are being kept in the Reserve Bank of India, central bank of the country, for ensuring the future prosperity of the nation. That is why it is for the people, by the people, and of the people. That is why it is called Reserve Bank of Australia, Reserve Bank of New York, Reserve Bank of South Africa, Reserve Bank of India. So all these Reserve Bank, it means it is a central bank of a country. That's a very prestigious organization. That is the greatest organization everyone can. And then GDP, all this GNP, all these things, they say it is nothing but what we do in our house. The total number of people, and then total what is your net income, all these things divide it, and then per capita income is, when you divide what is coming, is called per capita income. So we may make it. And then why inflation? What do you mean by inflation? Inflation is nothing but demand and supply, elasticity. But then I used to tell as an example, suppose Rajinikanth picture is coming, the whole cinema theater is only having 100 seats, but all the 100 tickets have been taken away by a fellow to sell it on the black market. So the capacity is 1,000 people are waiting outside the 100 rupee ticket. That fellow is selling 500 rupees. There are people to buy it. So the rupee gets inflated. The rupee value gets inflated because of the artificial demand is being made. When you are able to have this manufacturing capability more, that is why GDP, whatever you call it, it all depends on everyone's real effort that is being made to make the country prosper. India is such a country, we have got everything in our country. Nothing is wrong. But only thing is, everywhere there is a question of unethical way. We should not make it. That is, the younger generation ensure that they will walk on the right path to make this country. It's a beautiful country where you cannot find even the topography. When you look at India, you can just fit in that Bharat Mata inside. Head is the Himalaya, and the down below is Kanyakumari, and the right hand and left hand, you can just, and then down below that Sri Lanka, you can keep that lioness under her feet. You can have this kind of topography. Nowhere you can find a country which is having this kind of topography. You can fix it. So this is a Bharat Mata. That is more important. So that kind of patriotism should be there. That is what we used to have, that infusion of patriotism. We used to have the infusion of righteousness, infusion of all this, ethical way of life that has got more. But only thing in philosophy, only you can listen to that. Philosophy has to be put into action. Once you get this kind of thing in our life, even the whole body, even one body is called a body. It is also an atom. So it belongs to the nation. So we are also a particle of this nation. We are also a particle in the whole world. So differently, people may speak some different languages, different kinds of food available. But all said and done, and ultimately the actual use is same. Food is for survival. You go to Russia and say, what you are eating, bread. What for you are eating? Just to safeguard ourselves, that's all. All common ornaments, plenty of ornaments, but gold is the common. So God is one. You call it in any way you want. You call it as Mary, you call it as Mariamma, you call it as Ram, you call it as Rai. But all said and done, everything is one. Unless and until this oneness comes to a person, this education has got no value. Therefore, my only suggestion to all the people, those who are listening, let us make everyone happy, and all the way happiness should be there. That is why that is called Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Ellorum inbuttiruppadallal yamundrum mariyin parabarame. This is what we have been taught. So let us have that honor of that. And I wish this GEMS the Zoom meeting. I should thank you. I should thank Prabha for that. I should thank you for coordinating this. I should thank each and everyone who has participated in this kind of thing. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to be in the midst of all of you. I don't know whether I have done something justification to my way of talking, because it's all little bit of more emotional for me. So I need all the students, all the people should be happy forever. That That is the prayer. That is all. Whoever may be, the prayer can be in one single way. Wherever the rain falls, it has to go ultimately to the sea. So likewise, there is a sloka in Sanskrit. Akashat paditam toyam yada gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaram kesamam pradigacchati. All said and all the names go to the one Lord. So may that Lord be with us. May the Lord guide us and protect us and guide us forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your experience and expertise with us. It was a pleasure having you on stage here. Thank you so much.